everybody, this is Vivika from Nourish Caveman, of course, and the Healing Foods Method program. And it's been a hot minute here since I was able to do a live video. I've been on the road, traveling quite a bit, up and down California, been to Utah, I've been to Colorado, and I finally made it back home to California. So thank you for joining me here today and watching this live video. Today it's going to be a little bit different than my usual video about a certain topic where I explain to you a lot about different health issues or issues with the ketogenic diet. Today we're going to actually take questions. Hi Sandy, and thank you for watching and joining me, and I would love to hear where are you guys watching from. If you are out there, I know Sandy is in Canada, and I know there are other people watching, so please share with me where are you joining me from. I have hair on my nose. So I would love also for you to join into this conversation. This is a Q&A. And so the whole idea is for you to be able to join in and ask me questions about any topic that is dear to your heart, especially regarding the ketogenic diet, keto. Thank you, Sandy. Keto for, I might have to remove my messages here. Lisa's joining us from Riverside. Yay, Cali girl. So 2 Californians here, me and her, and a Canadian. So yeah, please pitch in and let me know where you're watching from. It's really cool to see people joining in from all kinds of different places. So thank you. Oh, Ohio, thank you for joining us, Diana. And how's the weather over there, you guys? California's been a little crazy, and in the last 3 weeks it's been super hot, then super cold, then it snowed again. So yeah, it's been quite a roller coaster, especially when you're on the road and then you don't know what to pack because it's like 3 different weathers in one day. Okay, well, thank you guys. As you guys are coming in and joining, please feel free to say hi, tell me where you are at and how you doing today. Today is Thursday. Thursday is actually one of my favorite days of the week because it seems like it's my slower day before Fridays get crazy again before the weekend. And so I love to do these videos on Thursdays where I have a little more time to prepare and, you know, not have so many calls as I have a pretty busy practice. And if I'm not working with my clients, I'm studying or reading or learning more so that I can help you guys better. And I always get all kinds of questions and challenges to face, so you need to study all the time. Again, today is a Q&A. Thank you so much for being here, and please think of something to ask me. But in case you have nothing to ask me, people have been sending me their questions, so I do have a little list of questions here that I'm gonna go through, and maybe in the meantime, you who are watching can think about something that you would like to know from me right now, so that we can have a conversation about it. And my phone is on the wrong side, so I keep looking up there where the camera should be, but today the camera is on this side. So forgive me if I look weird and trying to find the camera. All right, so I'm gonna start here with some of the questions that my audience has sent me today as I posted about this live video. And in the meantime, you guys who are watching can also think of questions to ask. That would be great. So the first one was about macros for carnivore. So you guys maybe don't know me so well, or if you have followed me already, you know that I have done a whole carnivore experiment last year, going from ketogenic. My evolution with the keto diet was from keto to, oh, another carnivore question, awesome. So keto to keto paleo, and then to carnivore. And I did carnivore for about 3 months, 1 month really strictly, trying to adapt. But what happened is that I realized that carnivore was not the right thing for me. But I discovered there is huge value in carnivore diet for specific cases, specific conditions, and so I've been using it therapeutically in my practice for the people that need it. And I am not one of those because I've never had extensive gut damage. And I usually recommend being carnivore when somebody has so much damage in their gut, leaky gut, and dysbiosis, imbalanced flora, their microbiome is all over the place, they used a lot of antibiotics, and they basically become fiber intolerant. And at that point, the carnivore diet will really give you the ability to reset your gut, rebalance your microbiome, adapt to a different flora so that you eliminate the symptoms and the problems while still keeping your body nourished. So that's really important in the process of healing. Now, I myself have not done long-term carnivore, and some of my patients that I work with, they are now about 6 to 9 months into it, and I am tracking, especially for women women 30s, 40s, 50s, what does it mean to do carnivore, and what does it do to your hormones? Is it beneficial long-term? So there is kind of like my own little experiment running here, and I'm happy to share my conclusions with you at any point. But let's see this question, because I think it's very similar to the one that, Lisa, I think it was you that asked the question on Instagram as well, and now you came to see the answer. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. So yeah, macros, the way that I do carnivore is in the style of PKD, the Paleolithic Ketogenic Diet. It's an adaptive diet and it's an ancestral diet. So there is a specific macro set that they use, which is 70-30, and this is very important because I feel that that's how you get the most benefits from carnivore. So 70% fat and 30% protein, ideally 0 carbs. Why is it so important to be 70% fat? Because it is a ketogenic diet. So I know that as carnivore gains popularity, there are many different ways of doing carnivore out there, especially you guys who are on Instagram. If you follow the big carnivores on Instagram, they're popping up everywhere. So there is Dr. Sean Baker. And by the way, I'm going to be on his podcast, so I'm so excited about that. I was a little starstruck when they invited me on their podcast, but we're going to record it next week. Super excited. And yeah, so there are, and then Judy, Nutrition with Judy, she's another lady that I follow on Instagram. She has great carnivore info. And Lisa, if you don't follow Judy, I recommend following her. She's awesome. But the way that I use carnivore is as a therapeutic diet. It needs to be 70% fat and 30% protein, because the high fat keeps you in ketosis, it nourishes your body, and also it really gives you the fuel, like ideal fuel for your body not to be too high on the protein. And when you are not able to tolerate the carbs, so we don't need the carbs. So the bulk of our calories should come from fat. And then 30% is ideally, plenty of protein for anybody to get your, building blocks, your amino acids. Also, you get your minerals. The other thing that I really want to address about carnivore diets is I do what they call nose to tail carnivore, pretty much. That means I endorse eating the whole animal as much as possible, especially organ meats. I know that Dr. Sean Baker, he pretty much lives on ribeyes, and that seems to work fine for him. But being a woman and having women's issues like hormones, I really recommend stressing your nutrition, the nutritional component of your diet, because the moment that you get depleted in minerals and you don't have the right building blocks to support all your organs and glands, then is when trouble appears. Another little parenthesis on carnivore here, and I'm kind of going on a little rabbit hole, but one thing that I've seen for perimenopausal women doing carnivore is that it's great for your gut, it's great for your energy, it's great for your body, but it doesn't always fully support your endocrine system when you come into it with an imbalanced endocrine system. So if you're having bad periods, or if you're having PCOS, or if you're having endometriosis, and any period related things, that can also happen. Fibroids in perimenopause, fibroids is a big one. So sometimes we need to still support the body with supplementation in addition to a pure strict carnivore diet. Lisa says, eating liver daily, yay, and beef heart, that's awesome. Good job, Lisa, like high fives. So good job. I eat liver not daily anymore because I've been eating a lot of liver for the last 6-7 years. So I eat it about once a week. And depending on where I am and what I'm doing, like I try to grab what's there. Like a couple of weeks ago, I was up on the homestead in Oregon where my friends live. So we processed the sheep. No, it was a goat. And then there was fresh liver, fresh kidney, all kinds of, organs. So I was able to eat raw kidney and make the liver right away. Goat liver is amazing. And I didn't get to the brain, it's still in the freezer. But, brain is a big one for like the fat and like the nutrients contained in the brain is like one of the superfoods that we rarely get access to. And I know that you guys listening might probably be like, ugh, brain. But brains, if prepared the right way, they can be really delicious. And I strongly recommend. They're really hard to find. You kind of almost have to go to the homestead yourself and like ask for the heads of the animals and then harvest them. So this is a whole other nose to tail conversation, but we'll try to stick to the topic. And let me scroll back to Lisa. I know that being in ketosis and get the same results. So I think that harnessing the power of ketosis is really valuable. And actually, I've never been in such high ketosis, like when I was doing 0 carbs and 70-30. It was effortless. And if it wasn't for my gut just kind of not being happy and not wanting to adapt and wanting some fiber, for me personally, I love being carnivore. And I am about 80% carnivore to this day. So I eat a lot of meat, a lot of red meat, a lot of organ meats. And I don't do so well with chicken. So it's possible that some of you will do better with chicken and some of you will do better with red meat. PKD style is only for legged animals. So it's no fish and no chicken, no poultry. It's just for legged animals, which, there is a good variety. So I eat venison, I eat elk when I can get it. I don't eat pork, but I eat beef and I eat lamb and sheep and mutton. So I feel like I have enough variety there that I can get my protein in a good way. And I like sheep fat instead of pork fat, because when you don't eat pork, it's hard sometimes to get enough fat in. But sheep is a very fatty animal, especially the older ones, which I prefer. And so you get really delicious fat there. So harnessing the power of ketosis is really important. It helps to heal the body. It helps to get you optimal. And then again, once you are ketogenic, keto adapted, once you are doing keto for a long time, like I have been, what will most likely naturally happen is that you're gonna kind of fade in and out of a low ketosis. I find that in perimenopause, it's better to include carbs still and help with the hormone balance, having carb ups. So maybe 2, 3, 4 times a week carb ups, depending on your individual case. But you can like have your carbs at night and then get back into ketosis in the morning and still fluctuate in and out of ketosis in a good way. Well, after menopause, as your hormones have fully transitioned and kind of simplified, then you can be stricter with your carbs and stay in ketosis consistently without having negative side effects on your endocrine system. So I hope, Lisa, that was good. If you have any other question regarding this topic, please post it right now. I'm going to move on to the next question, which is Sandy. Hi, Sandy. I haven't talked to you in a minute. And would you recommend keto carnivore? Someone is known to carry genetics whereby saturated fat causes raise cholesterol. So I think that at this point, you could do different versions of carnivore. Like maybe I would recommend a more varied carnivore approach where you're using fish as well as chicken and poultry as well as beef. And genetics for me is one of those things. I believe in epigenetics, but I also look at blood types. None for me is like set in stone, because epigenetics tells us that we do have the power to modulate gene expression. That means that turn on or off certain genes, or even rewrite our DNA, because like that's what happens when you do nutrition. You can actually rewrite your DNA, create new cells. The DNA is not a crystal, like it's a crystalline structure, but it's not set in stone. So it's like every other part of our bodies. It renews and it changes. So genetics can give you a roadmap, but is something that is actually modifiable. Therefore, I would take it with a grain of salt. Yes, there are, it is real. It's there. Like I have an MTHFR mutation, and supposedly I should take supplements for it every single day. But what happened is that I took supplements for a couple of months for my mutation specifically. I was supplemented with choline and folinic acid and creatine, and the symptoms related to the mutation got better and they never came back. And now I constantly support my liver in general. I've been doing that for years. And I feel like I have not had this, like one of the big symptoms is irritability. When you're just like, and being perimenopausal, you think that I would be irritable, yes. But after supplementing for a few months, it really made a difference. And now I don't feel like I need it. I still use choline occasionally when I feel like my liver needs an extra push. But again, I feel that like my body has adapted to this mutation, and now with a little supplementation help is able to navigate things on its own with really good food, good nutrition. And I constantly work on myself, even like I'm in a good state of health. I'm strong, and but life comes at you all the time, and toxins come at you, and stress comes at you. So we constantly have to refine, improve, and navigate what the different stages of our life, and how we're gonna age in a positive, healthy way, strong way. So Sandy, to go back to you, I think that what you could try is a more open carnivore diet where you do fish, you do poultry, and you do red meats, and vary the red meats, and see how that works for you. And just, I know you're really good with doing labs and keeping an eye on things. You're really awesome. And Sandy does nutrition as well. After being my patient, she was also at the same time studying to become a nutritionist. I don't remember your title, but I know that you are practicing now, so that's really great. I hope this answered your question. Let me know if there is anything else that I haven't covered, okay? And then we have Debbie here. Hi, Debbie. Where are you watching us from? Me. Where are you watching me from? Debbie asks, how many carbs a day for keto? Okay, that is really really kind of a tricky question, because like I don't believe in this kind of rules, and my truthful answer would be as many as you can tolerate. And that's why on my blog, The Nourished Caveman, I have a carb tolerance test. It's like a little quiz that you can take and tells you where you're at with carb intolerance or tolerance, because we're all different, and our level of carb tolerance is varying depending on our ages, our stress levels, of our exercise levels. So maybe in a year you will start out being really carb intolerant and having to be really low carb. Hey Patty, thank you for watching from the other side of the United States. So as you work on your body, and maybe like you're really stressed in that moment, and you've been eating sugar for a long time, and you transition into keto and low carb, your carb tolerance level will increase. While on the other hand, if you have been, doing low carb and eating pretty good, and then something happens that you're super stressed out, and you're just like you get an infection and you're sick for a while, then your level of carb tolerance will decrease, meaning you're not going to be able to tolerate carbs. What does that mean in practical? It means how many carbs can we actually eat and stay in ketosis? So that is something that you have to figure out for yourself, looking at your keto strips, either the urine sticks at the beginning, or for longer periods of time, then you can use the blood strips or the ketonics. I love my ketonics. I just got the newer one not too long ago, and I'm really excited about it because I can take it everywhere as a battery now, and I can just take it on the go, and it's a one-time investment, and then it's done. You don't have to keep poking fingers and such things. So you will discover your personal level of carb tolerance by seeing how many carbs you can eat and stay in ketosis. So if you are a woman also, and a woman in perimenopause, again, you might need more carbs, and you might need to cycle your carbs. And then if you are a man and you're very active, you're young, you're very athletic, some athletes can tolerate about 60-70 grams, even 100 grams of carbs a day, and still fully be in ketosis. When I started, I was very insulin resistant. I could not even take 20 grams of carbs a day, and it would pop me out of ketosis. So I had a really hard time to get in ketosis. I was very carb intolerant, and that has got way better with the years. So now, excuse me, insulin resistance has gone down and carb tolerance has gone up. I hope that answered your questions. And I'm getting messages here. Yes, who was it? Debbie. Debbie, did that answer your question? Or if you need to know anything else, please let me know and chime in there. And here we have Patty. Hi, Patty. Hello, many ounces a day or week of red meat? So I actually have not calculated that because, let me think. So when I first started carnivore, I did track, and I put, it really depends on your size and your weight and your caloric needs. Again, it's hard to answer these questions so generically because it's specific to you, to the individual. But again, if you go to the carnivore macros of 70-30, so you'll do a daily 30% of protein. So you will put it in a calculator, and a great way to do this, you guys, is just like calculate your macros for a week or so and look how much that is. You can see that your portion of 30% protein is like this much steak. And then depending on what meat you choose, there's going to be more or less fat. The idea is to learn how to eyeball it and to just kind of not be slave to those macros all the time, because that's really annoying. Sorry, but here there's phone calls and messages coming on nonstop. So I hope we are back. So it really depends on you and what your macros are. But again, 30% protein would be a good idea. All right, so I know there are some people still watching here. I hope I didn't bore you to death with this technical stuff, but I'm just here to try to help and answer your questions. And yeah, let's see. Do you have any more questions, my watchers? Because otherwise I have a couple of interesting ones that I got from the readers that sent me today. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate it. I'm going to go over a couple more things and then we'll wrap it up. I don't even know how long we've been chatting here, for almost half an hour. Wow. All right. This is a good one. Hair loss for keto. Is it normal to start losing hair when you start keto? This is a question that I hear a lot, is a problem that I see a lot. I don't know if you guys have experienced it, if you have done keto and start losing your hair. But I was reading also recently about that on the internet, and I saw it was on a Facebook chat group, one of those keto groups that I visit sometimes, and some people were recommending collagen for hair loss. Now, it seems to me like that answer is off the mark. Why would you lose hair on keto? Well, the first reason that comes to mind for me is that when you change diet, it's a stressor for your body. And as your body, switches from one diet from the other, then we are going to experience internal stressors. And when that happens, your body, if it's not fully supported and fully nourished, will tend to lose hair because of a lack of nourishment. So the second reason, which is for me the first actually, is the lack of nutrients, and especially minerals play a big role. So a lot of people might start keto and not supplement or not be aware of how many minerals and electrolytes we need and how important it is when you start doing low carb. So the sodium needs go up, but also potassium. It's a big thing, and we really need to be conscious of getting enough potassium. I use avocados and cilantro, and only in very specific cases when people have extreme cramps or like nighttime cramps that don't seem to be resolved with avocado and cilantro, then we might supplement for a couple of weeks, a month, until your cramps are over. And then magnesium, of course. So it's sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Very, very important. And I think that if you're properly supplementing from the beginning, you're not going to incur this hair loss. The second big reason of hair loss could be that you have gone keto, super low calorie and super low carb, and that has bunked your thyroid. And the thyroid is just, was already there, kind of like barely making it, and, not ideal. You're barely within range. You're less than optimal, but still, because of the labs they run nowadays, it's hard to see how your thyroid is really working. That I'm a thyroid nerd. So I can see if your thyroid is actually not perfectly functioning when we run proper labs. But a normal doctor would not be able to see that and think you're in normal range, but your thyroid is already kind of struggling. And then you add keto to that and you start reducing the calories and the carbs at the same time. That might be enough to tip your thyroid over the edge. And one of the big symptoms that happen when your thyroid is malfunctioning is that you will start losing hair a lot. So heads up, if you guys are supplementing with all the proper minerals and you're still losing hair, have your thyroid properly checked. And I recommend at least 7 markers. That gives us an idea where is the problem coming from, because TSH alone is not going to cut it. It's just going to tell you underfunctioning. That's it. No reason and no clue on why. So the rest of the markers, the T3, T4, free and total, and the reverse T3 and the antibodies are going to tell us where the problem is. Okay. I think that I have one more question, but I know it's kind of boring. So I think that we have covered a lot of good information here. And if those of you who are watching want to chime in the last minute, I can take one more question and explain it to you. And if not, that was great as well. Thank you so much for watching and coming on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. And springtime, and hopefully the crazy storms are over. I am back home, so I'm hopefully going to be able to do these weekly lives and bring you different topics, especially for women's health, women doing keto, women perimenopause and menopause, hormone issues, thyroid issues. Those are my fields of expertise. So anything that can be helpful for you. And also, please, if you have a topic that you want to know, Renee, don't worry. you can still watch the video after I post it. And if you have a question, you can squeeze it in right now. Okay? So as I'm wrapping up, if you have a quick question, I will be happy to answer. And then you can watch it again. And yes, by the way, you guys can still post your questions right under the video, even after is just a replay, because I will look at them and I will answer anyways. It might not be such an extensive answer, but I can give you a quick one. And then feel free to suggest topics for the next videos. I love to speak about things that interest you. I am on the nerdy side, so sometimes I tend to go a little technical, but I know that it's valuable information, and I love educating people over health and better choices, empowering yourself and taking care of yourself. Menopausal. Okay, you know what, Renee? I think that could be a great topic for next Thursday. I have spoken on menopause a little bit, but there's always more to say. And so we could make it next Thursday's topic. So thank you so much for watching. In case you don't know, all my channels where I scatter information, I'm on YouTube. There are a lot of good old videos there, the beginnings of keto. And then I'm here on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and the blog, of course. The blog is The Nourished Caveman, and then there are about 5 years of posts on keto, on crazy amounts of recipes, and you know, I am big on health topics, so there's a lot about health, not just the diet. Thank you again. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you soon here.